You are listening to episode 18 of the Aligned Actor podcast. So on this podcast, I'm always trying to share with you things that I'm trying out, testing and manifesting world and all of that stuff, things that I'm playing with. And I'm especially excited to share this technique with you because I've been having tangible success with it. And I've really been able to connect the dots between the alignment part and the manifested result. And that's been really fun for me. And then I've been trying to take this very concrete example of quote unquote proof for me that this whole system and manifesting stuff works and apply it to other areas of my career. And that's been harder to do because this whole thing has to do with, as much of manifesting does, all of manifesting does, it has to do with following inspired action instead of engaging in actor hustle. And you may recall from episode 14 of this podcast that that's something I'm trying to do more in my career, but I find it difficult. And so, spoiler alert, it's still a challenge for me. Because the problem is, I think that the idea of hashtag actor hustle is so ingrained in us and in our profession that I know that I personally can get a little twitchy and itchy when I feel like I'm not doing something to make my career happen. But I've also come to discover that whatever action I manufacture from that place of twitchy itchiness really doesn't do anything to further my career. And I've come to realize, especially with my latest 2 creative projects, that routine was never the way to go. Forcing things and forcing inspiration and forcing just yeah, I'm gonna get this creative project to work. I'm gonna sit here at my computer and bang on the keyboard until somehow this scene works. That just never worked. I would just get frustrated and yeah, it was just never the way to go. So I would step away and I would get myself back into alignment with my end goal for the project and let it go. And then when I came back to the project, I would come back to it when I felt inspired again, and not just because I was feeling like, well, I have to work on this. And that worked so much better, guys. So this is something I wanted to share with you, and I get into it, I think, in more depth in the actual episode. So enjoy. Welcome to the Aligned Actor podcast. I'm Amy Schlerb, and I am an actor and a student of conscious creation, looking to learn, grow, and share my experiences with you so that together we can master our mindsets and manifest the careers of our dreams. Let's play. Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. Today I want to talk about inspired action. And I know I've talked about this in the past a couple of times, especially back in episode 14 when I talked about actor hustle, quote unquote, versus inspired action, and how I was trying to give up the hustle in favor of the inspiration, and that can be a challenge, and it's certainly still proving to be one for me. But there's one area in my career where it's working really well for me, and that's my creative writing projects. There, I've been able to do the whole align with your desire, feel the feeling of having it now, and then follow inspired action, manifesting routine. And for the first time, I'm seeing how the dots connect, and I'm going, oh, this stuff actually works. I'm getting immediate results, and I'm kind of grooving off of that, and it's really, really, really cool. So I'm working on these 2 big creative projects right now. One is a screenplay, and one is a book. And the main technique that I've been using to stay motivated and to keep these projects going and to get out of the moments when I feel really stuck creatively is to line up with the end result of the project. So I ask myself, what is the ultimate dream for this creative project? And then sure enough, I get an inspiration on where to take the writing next or what to do next. And for the screenplay, I want the message and the story to touch and inspire many, many lives. So what I imagine is, what I imagine to line up with that end goal are the words that people would say to me after having seen the movie. And not just oh, that was great, good job, whatever. But specifically, how do I want them to be affected by my story and the message of my movie? I imagine them being uplifted, comforted, inspired, impacted by my work. And then I get an inspiration for what to write. And I found that every time I would get stuck while I was writing and I didn't know how to fix a scene, I'd be like, oh, this isn't working. I don't know what to do. How do I get this to work again? I would just tune into that end result and ask the question, how do I want my audience to feel? And I just live in that space for a while. And that space feels really good, right? Like it just feels really nice to just live in that place for a while and kind of dream and let myself dream for a while. And then sure enough, within a few hours or a day, I'd have an idea about, what to do with the story and it would unstick me creatively. And it's the same thing with the book. I have a very specific example for that one. One day I decided to write a bunch of Amazon reviews of the book and really tap into what I wanted my readers to experience and then reflect back to me in reviews that they might write. And so I wrote those reviews, 5 stars, of course. And then sure enough, later that day, I got a very clear inspiration for the title of my book. And that had been something that I'd been struggling with for a while. And I'd been like, I don't know what to call this. Like, ugh, I don't like any titles for these types of books. I don't know what to, where am I going to go with this? And then sure enough, after getting lined up with that feeling and writing those reviews as my alignment technique, that inspiration for the title came. And it was really cool. And it's been really, really cool for me. And like I said, it's the first time where I've really consistently been able to connect the dots between getting aligned with my ultimate desire and then recognizing the next inspired action. And now I'm trying to apply this technique to my career more generally. And I'm having some success with it, but it still really challenges me. And as I've been working on this episode, I've realized something. I think the missing piece for me is that with my creative writing projects, the inspired action produces an immediate payoff that I can see. So, the problem is like, oh, I don't know how to fix this scene. So I get lined up with my end desire, my end result. I live in that space for a little bit. And, now I see how to fix the scene. So I fix the scene. Boom, done. But I feel like with our acting careers, it can be very different and it can run on a totally different timeline. So I might be fully lined up with booking this commercial audition or whatever audition I just went on, but their callbacks aren't until next week. So of course there's no inspired action for me to take, even though I'm fully lined up with booking this job. And any inspired action that I might take, either there isn't an inspired action to take, and I kind of sit there being like, well, what am I supposed to do now? Well, nothing. Okay, and that feels weird. Or if I get an inspired action, it doesn't produce that sort of immediate same-day payoff that I get to see. So I might be inspired to look up the director and learn more about them, and follow them on social media, but it's not like they immediately follow me back or, that they immediately call me in for the job or something. Like it takes time, So there are all these pieces that I feel like are in play that I just can't see. They're happening behind the scenes, right? And also, and I think this is probably a bigger key for me, I feel like sometimes I wait and watch too eagerly for that inspiration. So it's like I get all lined up, this is my desire, this is what I want, this is what it feels like. All right, I'm in that space, I'm cooking, it's real good. And then I aggressively look for what I can do next for my career. Like, where's my inspired action? What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? But with my creative projects, I feel a bit more relaxed. And I've done enough creative projects throughout my life that I know that sometimes the best thing that you can do is just set it down for a while and engage in a totally different area of life and basically forget about that project until I feel inspired to work on it again. And I do that with these projects. I would get stuck. I'd think about how I wanted my audience or my readers to feel, but I would also disengage. I'd go cook dinner or take a nap or clean a toilet or something. I didn't just sit at my computer going, okay, I've achieved alignment. What's my next great idea? I let it go for a while. And the idea just comes when it comes. I don't aggressively wait for it. And I feel like that's the sort of kink that I'm facing in sort of my career more generally and in kind of like the acting parts as opposed to the writing part is that I think I aggressively wait for that next step. And it's like a watched pot never boils, right? So I know that's what I need to do for my career in general. If I'm following these manifesting steps, which is something I aspire to do and something that has certainly helped me in other areas of my life. And so I'm applying it here. I need to line up with that end desire, live there for a while because it's fun and it feels nice, and just let it go and trust that an idea will come. But it's still a challenge for me. So I guess this podcast is my reminder to myself to trust my own guidance and to trust in this system and the universe and everything else that's going on out there, and that it's all working out and that it's all good. I have a Post-it note up above my computer that says, relax, it's all happening. And sometimes I really need to stare at that for a while. So maybe you needed to hear that too. I'm not sure. I think I really needed to hear it. And I think that's why this particular podcast episode has kind of been gnawing at me all through February, and why it became my February podcast. So yeah, sometimes we need to just wait and trust that an idea will come that feels natural and inspired, and resist that urge to just do something. Like, I know when I start to get a little anxious that I'm not doing anything quote unquote productive, and I'm really supposed to be hustling and grinding, and so I aggressively look for any idea and just do that. And I'm having a lot of those feelings, particularly these days. And I feel like those ideas that are born out of that fear and lack place, I've found they don't get me anywhere, and usually just give me more fear and more lack, which is not what I want, right? So I'm trying to just chill out. And maybe that's where a lot of my ideas have come from in the past. And that's why I've struggled with this manifesting practice, this technique. So I think it's time to take this example of how it's been working for me in my creative writing projects and do that. So again, align with that end result, that end feeling. What do I want the readers to feel? What do I want the audience to feel? How's that going to make me feel? And then let it go and follow the inspirations. And trust that they're going to come, and trust that I don't have to make them come. I don't have to find them myself. I don't have to, be on the lookout for them. They're just going to come. And that has worked for me in so many creative things. That's how Schlerbits always happened. I never forced any of those, and that was a great time for me. So I think this is something that I need to apply more generally to my career. And it's a struggle, and it's something that I'm continually practicing and continually working on. But I was really excited to share with you how my creative writing projects, especially starting in 2020, have really followed this pattern very nicely, and have actually like I've connected the dots. Like I was saying, like I see it where I'm like, I got lined up. And then I had this idea, and I knew how to fix this part of the screenplay, or I knew what to write next in the book. And it's so clear to me that it works. And so I'm like, okay, I get it. Alignment, and then follow inspiration. And now I just have to practice it more regularly and more consistently in other parts of my life. And hopefully it'll have the same results. So those are my thoughts for February. I'd be curious to hear your thoughts. You can reach out on social media. I'm at Amy Schlerb. You can join the Aligned Actor community on Facebook by going to facebook.com/groups/the Aligned Actor community. The tag of this podcast that you're about to hear is going to tell you that there's a lot going on in there, but I'm going to be honest, there's really not. I'm not in there a lot. Nobody's really very talkative. I'm actually kind of thinking of shutting down the whole thing, or at least redoing or nixing the tag part of the podcast. I don't know. I'm open to ideas and inspirations, and that's honestly, this whole episode was about that. So that's probably what I should do. I should get lined up with my ultimate dream for this podcast and what it is that I want for actors and what it is I want to be sharing with them. I want to inspire and help us all as actors to improve our mindsets and to start trusting and recognizing that a lot of what we want for our careers is already here. And then I'll see what I feel inspired to do with the Facebook group. So yeah, stay tuned on that one. But if anyone has any ideas, let me know. So yeah, thanks for listening, guys. Happy February. Bye. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. If you feel inspired to do so, please subscribe, rate, review, and share this podcast with your actor pals so that more people can enjoy the good vibes. Also, be sure to join the Aligned Actor community on Facebook by going to facebook.com/groups/the Aligned Actor community. That's the place where this podcast gets interactive. It's a pretty fun party. You're going to want to get in on it. Until next time, remember, you are an amazing actor and you are creating the career of your dreams. Congrats!